The story, millions of South Africans depend on public transport daily, and with the rising cost of living, commuters have to fork out more to get to work. Well, this morning our reporters are around the country to take a look at the system, what works and what doesn't. eNCA's Manqoba Mkhunu checks out one of the public transport services in the country, which is the Gautrain. On the other hand, eNCA's Ronald Masinda will join us from Langa in Cape Town, also assessing some of those issues as well. Good morning to you, colleagues, and it's a bright Monday morning, a good time to have this conversation as most South Africans drive out to work and to start, of course, their daily schedule. But let me start with you, Manqoba. I mean, you are at the Gautrain. I suppose with our transport focus today, I mean, what should we be looking at? What should government be looking at? Commuters who ride on this Gautrains daily, should they be looking at concerns over public train transport?
Well, certainly, Tumelo, you know that the issue of transport is one of the contentious issues here in South Africa, of course, given the fact that most of our public transport is considered to be unreliable. I mean, you can speak to taxi commuters, you can speak to train commuters and bus commuters, and you'll hear almost similar sentiments from those commuters that most of those services are unreliable, and that, in fact, when you do take these public transport facilities, you can expect, of course, to arrive late to work if you are going to work. These are mostly some of the challenges that these commuters face on a daily basis. But when it comes to the issue of Gautrain, of course, this is one of the options that many commuters are now looking into, given the fact that this is perhaps one of the most reliable, one of the most convenient and safest modes of transport here in Gauteng. But of course, that comes at a cost, Tumelo, a hefty cost, because a trip from here to Pretoria would set you up anything between 60 Rand as well as 81 Rand. So that depends on when exactly you would board a Gautrain. On peak hours, for example, Tumelo, one would expect to pay roughly about 81 Rand to get to Hatfield, and 64 Rand if you are traveling off-peak hours. So it is a very reliable service. We do know that the trains here are available every 10 minutes for those who want to board and wants to use the service. But of course, it comes at a cost, Tumelo, which is what is something that you have to consider digging deeper into your pockets if you perhaps want to make use of the Gautrain. But the service that it offers, of course, many of those who use it say that it is a reliable service. It does not only provide trains for commuters, but there are also bus shuttles, as you can see here behind me, Tumelo, some of the buses that will take you to and from those Gautrain stations. So it is one of the options that Gauteng residents have been considering over the years since it was launched in 2010. But of course, it means, Tumelo, that you must pay more in order to use the service.
Absolutely, and it seems that, you know, if public transport is reliable, people are sort of put in their position to sort of fork out more to pay for it. But is it fair for the greater majority? Well, Mwanda Keswa is in Durban and will be talking to us as well, but placing a special focus on taxi commuters. So good morning to you as well, colleague. I'll get to you in just a moment.